What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneauShow, Underdog to Success podcast interview edition. Today, I am joined by an incredible writer, podcaster, mentor. Read a lot on him just a moment ago. I was reading on you, man. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Tell them where they can find all your amazing things you're doing, your website, all the amazing things you're doing. Tell them where they can find you, man.
Uh, First of all, thanks for the introduction. I was looking for the person you was introducing because I really didn't realize that that was me. but hey, man, my name is Little Pie McElveen. Yeah, my website is Little Pie McElveen. That's LITTLEPIEMCELVEEN.com. That's my website, and all social media. Little Pie McElveen. That's how you can find me and follow me with everything that he said I'm doing.
Nah, man, I was reading it, man. I was reading on you, man. I don't like to write stuff for my podcast interviews, just me personally, because I think when I write something down, then I'm like, I'm bound to that information. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? And I like the free flow, like because I like to have a conversation, and then I can pick off something from the conversation and take it and be like, yeah, that is what I want to talk about now. So and but I was reading so much on you, man. I wasn't trying to like get my mind too into the conversation because I was just like, I want to read particular things about this man because, and I was reading, and the first thing I was reading, and I was like, this is pretty interesting. Alpha Pi Alpha, you were like, you got a bunch of awards for just being pretty much a mentor, which is
Yes.
so incredible to me. I was like, wow, that's so incredible. Like to see you be a mentor. So what got you into becoming a mentor? That's
Well,
interesting.
what that program was about really, that pretty much stemmed off my musical background, right? So I toured for years doing like tour management and role, and things like that for groups in the 90s. So what happened was Alpha Phi Alpha, the local chapter from our area, Paterson, New Jersey, they used to do like their rendition of American Idol. So the guys asked me to actually come on as a judge. So it started out as me coming on as like a guest judge, and then what happened after that was because of the positive feedback they were getting from people at the way I critiqued and judged the kids. Then what happened at that point was, knowing my history, when they had these auditions and these shows, they would bring me in to help audition the kids, and then to kind of help mentor them through their journey in music. So, and it became a real passion of mine because I got to see how these young people, man, just become super interested in something because somebody cared enough to want to know what it is you need to do to take this to the next level, or what you think you should do. Like when you start showing kids that you're interested in what they're doing, they open up, right? Not only do they open up, they go harder with it. And as an educator, I find that to be true as well. It's like, long as they know, hey, this guy he really cares about what I think or what I feel. So, and then from there, man, I just told him, like, listen, anytime you guys need me, please pick up the phone. And I just made sure that time of the year on my calendar every year was open just for that event.
Mm, that's that's amazing.
Yeah.
And as a young man in this world, I would say a lot of people won't do that. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't do that. Even though you say you come from a musical background, it's still
Yeah.
like you said, exactly what you just said. We need somebody to say, "Hey man, I believe in you. You got it. Come on, keep going. Like you got this." And
I'm a
for that,
dad, man. I'm a
yeah,
dad,
man, like
right? And no matter what I do, that kicks in first. Like, especially when I'm dealing with youth, right? I'm a dad. So I mean, I there's no way I'm going to be around a group of kids in any arena and not care enough about them. I can't. I'm a dad. That's what happens.
yeah, as yeah, I'm not a father, but I have a lot of male figures in my life, and I think every single one of them would love to see me flourish to my highest potential.
For sure. Yeah.
And I
Why
think
not?
that's and that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's all we need sometimes as a young person in this world is just somebody older to say, "I believe in you. You got
Yeah.
something. Keep going." And I think that's the main thing. Sometimes it gets shaky out here in this world, especially in this era, in this world that we're in right now.
Yeah, man.
It's a different type of feeling, man. It's a yeah. So I applaud you for that and commend you for that because that's a hell of a thing to do for a lot of these young kids out here, especially in like New Jersey, New York area where you see a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
Especially at a young
sure.
age,
And
you see a
that's
lot.
why, but that's why it's more important, right? Because
Definitely.
you don't want them to turn to that, right? So instead of just saying you don't want them to turn to that, you have to affect that change, right? Because not everybody has the dad figure. And then some of them don't have the dad and the mom figure, right? So they have to lean on something, man. And when you're being raised by grandparents, it's only so much they can do, right? So yeah, it's like you have to, man. And even as an educator, man, even not just my class that I teach, but the school like have access to me, man. So our morning greetings, man, is however you feel. If it's a hug you need, let's get that hug going. If it's a
Hmm.
pound you need, let's get that pound going. If you need a moment out of my lunch break, man, to just sit down and chop it up about something that's bothering you, let's do that too. Because man, these kids are dealing with things, man, that we didn't have to deal with as young people, man. Like it's tough for them. So I have to, man. Not I want to, right? But at the same token, man, I have to, right? And I would just want that to be the same availability my kids that I am to other kids in school. I would want my kids to have that person that's available to them as well, outside of just me being here. So I mean, it's so important, man. As a man, as a black man, it's so important, man. We see so many negative things about our young boys, man, about our kids, and we're up against it all, right? Like that it's honestly us against the world, man. When you have to teach the young men, listen, you can't wear your hood when you drive. You can't do this when you drive. My boys, all my sons, man, I gave everybody a plastic lanyard to put their driver's license, insurance, and registration in, right? So when you drive, just hang it on your gear shift. So God forbid you get pulled over, you don't have to reach. Hand that to the officer. They can see it, it's visible. If he asks you to take it out, let him hand it back to you, then you remove it, then you hand it back to him. But it's sad that we have to teach them little things like that, man, just to survive. I mean, something as simple as a traffic stop. So yeah, it's we need it. We definitely need it. I don't take it for granted at all, man.
Well, as a young man in this world, thank you for doing that for a lot of these young men out here because we need that. You know,
Yes.
uh, you had to be the cool teacher because you had an open door policy. Everybody's like, man, I'm about to go kick it with.
I am, man. And then,
I'm
and then some of my coworkers are, they get upset because they're like, because I dress like the youth. I do. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
the Jordan ones and the shredded jeans and the
yeah.
hoodies and the tees. So but I make all my own tees and hoodies. So there's always something positive on them.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like man, some of my coworkers, my peers are like, well, as teachers, we supposed to listen. That's what you do,
Yeah,
right? But
that's
I
what you
need
do.
these kids to understand that I'm here for them. So if I look like them, then I got their full attention.
Attention.
I have their full attention, right? So this setting is never about me. Like it's never about me as an educator. It's always about them. So I don't trip on them wearing hats in class as long as what you're doing, if you have your hoodie on, if you have your hat on, as long as what you're doing is not disrupting or interfering with the learning process, if that's your comfort zone, let's go. Right. But I need all of you though. Like I'm not going to give you that liberty and then you just sit there and just do what you want to do at that point.
Do.
So yeah, it's important, man. Like, because we all got to be comfortable in our doings, man. Like, these kids aren't built like we are. They didn't come up like we came up, right? So I
They ain't
can't
coming like,
expect them. No, I can't expect them to just sit there and learn. No, it's not going to happen, man. So yeah, we got to do it, man. We got to crack our jokes. You know what I mean? Throughout
yeah,
the day. But my main thing in anything that we do is my number one rule with everything is respect. So if we're having fun, we're having fun, but you're going to respect yourself. You're going to respect your peers, and you're definitely going to respect me. So if they get a wrong answer or they read a word wrong, we're not laughing out loud. That's not what we do, because we don't want anyone to feel bad, right? Because we're all learning. I may read a
yes.
word wrong. So no one's perfect in anything they do. So that's just my number one thing, man. Respect one another, and then we'll have the greatest days possible and learn it. So yeah, I do. I try to make it as comfortable as possible. Not so much fun, but because here's the deal. If you're comfortable, right, you're going to have fun at some point, right? So I just try to make our setting as comfortable as possible so that, yeah, we can have those fun moments. And they already know. You say something crazy to me, I'm coming back at you. That's just what we do, right? So yeah, we just enjoy the day, man. We enjoy the moment, and my relationships with the parents are golden, man. They're solid, because they're like, listen, this guy's a dad. I see it. And then the kids, man, they go home and they enjoy the times, man. So that's a beautiful thing for me, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man, that's incredible because I know, I'm going on 10 years being out of high school next year. I know when I had a fun teacher, like I would have loved Joe class because I would have been like, I respect him because he's actually giving us the freedom to be ourselves and express ourselves. And, that's the respect. That's what we want for like our parents or like our
Yeah,
older peers because we want that. We want to be free enough to be like, you know what, I will respect you if you give me the same respect back. And that's
big.
where a lot of these kids, even though some of these kids don't deserve the respect back, I mean, some of these motherfuckers a little bit
Yeah.
over the top
Well,
with it.
I listen. It's a clean slate, right? But
It's a
here's the
clean
deal.
slate.
I tell
Yeah.
you what I don't. I tell you what we don't do, right? We're not going to be that cool guy, and then you just snap off because you feel like you want to snap off, right?
Mm,
Because then I shut it down. Then it's like, yo, we're not doing that. That's not our relationship. Like,
right.
if we're gonna respect it, we're gonna respect it. But if you think we're gonna be cool in this particular moment in time, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because you're not feeling like doing something, or you don't like the way that this class is trending, so to keep from you using your brain in a productive way, you think you're just gonna snap off. We're not doing that either. So let's figure it out, because a lot of them don't know how to deal with situations, man. They just don't know how to deal, and
Yep.
it's sad. It's sad, but yeah, we get it though.
That's that's
Yeah.
an incredible thing, man. You said something earlier. I'm gonna bring it back because you said something earlier. I was like, the '90s as a manager of rappers and rap groups and stuff. I was like,
But
what?
I did all R&B.
Or oh, you gotta tell me them stories.
I did R&B. Well, my
You gotta tell me them
guys,
stories.
Riff were my guys, right? We all
Yeah.
grew up together, so they went out and yeah. So they kind of, I was a brother, so they had me come out with them, and even when they went from Riff to Minivision, so yeah, man, it was just fun times, man. Just being out there. I mean, a young kid from the hood, right? Seeing the world, like
Yeah.
that. That was an incredible thing, man. Not just going from city to city, but just, I mean, getting on planes, man. Seeing different countries, man, different cultures, like to
Mm.
see how things are just different across the globe, man. Like that was the music part was cool, but I always had a different perspective on things, man. So to see, man, like different countries, man, and like the things that you read about in history books, to actually see them up close and personal, man, it's like it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was amazing, man. Like Big Ben and stuff, like the
Wow.
Golden Gate, like things like that, man. It's like I was like, wow. Like, so for me, that's what I got out of the experience. Just being able to kind of, you know what I mean, make these books that I read in class, like that reality, because of the opportunity. I mean, naturally out there being with the groups every night, man, seeing the vocal battles and people battling their hits on stage with one another. But it was always a brotherhood and great camaraderie backstage, right? But I mean, listen, man, that alone, that was a beautiful thing, man. The only part about that is I was the youngest dude on the set. And it's kind of like babysitting a bunch of grown men, man, because you got to get them from point A to point B. Got to make sure everybody come out the hotel room in time, make sure everybody make it to the airport. It's like, it gets crazy, man, because it's like, bro, come on, man, you're a grown man. And I really have to call you a million times. So yeah, that, but just sharing that experience, man, with your brothers, man, and going out there. I wasn't the guy on the stage, but I mean, it was still like, man, it was nice. I used to like just stand in the middle of the stage, man, like right before a show start, just to see the amount of people that was out there, man, and just be like, wow, this is amazing, man, to like actually get an opportunity to do this. Like, it was amazing. So it was a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I would love to be a manager. But when you said, you got to call grown ass men out their room to get
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
probably would
promise
like
you.
that part. I
Yeah,
probably would like that
you'll definitely have more frustrating days than you would exciting. I can assure you that, man. Yeah, yeah,
I'll probably like, yeah, this is not one of those good days.
yeah. Nah, yeah,
But seeing the world, that is at a young age too. You gotta
amazing.
be. It's like you like the picture of that to me is like, man, I've seen something that I know people in my own neighborhood, in my own family, probably
Yes,
would have can't even imagine, can't even visualize. I've
yes.
seen it. I physically was there. I've seen it. It's a different type of energy, man. That's a
Yeah,
different type of mindset.
it is. And I'll tell you, my son, right? One of my sons, anyway. He's in college, so he wants to get into music. So I never shy them away. Do what you do. We'll teach you the right way, right? So he called me one day because they had a little bin of mine that I guess I just never took from the house when their mother and I separated. And he
Mhm.
was like, Dad. I said, what's up? He said, I found a bin that belongs to you. Can I have it? Okay, it's been years since I've had it. Like, sure,
Yeah,
you can have it. So he starts taking all these pictures and sending them to me, right? So what it is like old passports and all access badges to certain
yeah.
tours and shows and plane tickets to other countries. And I was like, wow, man, I forgot all about that stuff. He's like, do you want it? Or I said, no, I told you can have it. Like, you keep it. So, man, that's his everyday inspiration, man, to succeed at some level of something, be it sports or music. So that particular piece right there is his everyday inspiration, man. And again, while you're in it, you don't really think of those things, man. You just take them, you come home, you throw them, but yeah, that's his everyday inspiration, man. And for me as a father to be able to give that to him, that's a blessing, man. It's amazing. So, but nothing I do, I take for granted at any time, man. But yeah, that right there. That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To have that particular thing to tie you in your son's relationship. He wants that, and you're like, I've experienced that.
Yeah. Yeah.
as that ties the relationship a little differently. That's a different type
It
of
does.
mind.
It gives
Different
him
type of
it
mind.
get like and because before when he was doing music, right, he knows I've been out there. He know that because he was old enough to know it. He just didn't know, like, okay, what does this guy really do? Oh, what does he really know, right? What does he understand about the process of this thing? He know I spent nights in studios, working on different materials with people. So, but he just never really knew. Then when he started seeing that, because I never went to the studio with him or anything, he would just send me music and I would just be like, yeah, nah, that's not it. So at first he just thought that, all right, this guy's just being a jerk. He just don't want me to do, you know what I mean? So then he got to the point where he just wouldn't send me anything. But my daughter and his mother used to be like, you need to send it to him. Like, you think he being a jerk, but this is what he does. Like, and they started telling him some of the people I worked with, some of the people I worked with before they became who they were. And he started listening to, he's like, okay. So then he understood. So he was like, well, can you at least come in the studio with me? Right. I said, okay. So then I finally went into a session with him. He has all these young dudes around him. And I call these dudes bobbleheads, right? Because when they're in the studio, this is all they doing. Nobody hears nothing, right? Nobody knows what's going on the record. You don't have to be saying anything. So I'm listening and everybody in there going crazy over whatever's going on. I'm looking at him. He's like, Dad, what you think? I said, this record has absolutely no structure. That right there set him off to another level, because now he understood, okay, out of all that people are saying, I understand structure is something that's needed in every element of life, right? So if I'm just out here with music and it has no structure, where am I going with it? How can I build? So then he and I had a private session, and I took him in and I showed him how to construct and orchestrate a record and put structure to it, tell the story, the dynamics in his voice when he's rap, like, and he looked at me, he's like, wow. He said, this was the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. And to have my dad do it, he was like, wow. It was just me and him and the engineer. So the engineer was like, how long you been in music? He was asking me. I was like, no, I did it for a minute. And he was like, so what did you find this young man at? He was like, nah, that's my dad. He's like, oh, like a father figure? He's like, no, that's my dad, like my dad. Yeah, like,
that's my dad, man.
Yeah, he's like, that's my dad. It's like, so, yeah, man, he and I, we're going to work on some things, man. We got some things coming. So, yeah, it's cool, man. It's like to find anything to kind of link you and any of your kids together, man. So, you know, and everybody has their own thing, right? But I'm a part of it all, man. I don't shy away from any of them. Whatever it is, and my thing is, I have 5 kids. I have 4 boys and 1 girl. I let each one of them pick whatever it is they want to do. And I'm gonna help you, even if it's just a regular job, right? So I'm still gonna help you. Whatever knowledge I have, I'm gonna share with you, just so that you can succeed in that arena of whatever it is you're doing.
Respect. Me and my dad, because my dad is the reason why I love sports so much. So anytime I watch sports or anything like that, I call my dad and we have like just like an hour conversation about just, I'm originally from New Orleans, so we talk about the Saints, we talk about, basketball, whatever, because that's what me and him bonded over. That's kind of what our thing was. That was our bond, sports. So that's what me and my dad always talk about. Still to this day, I talked to him yesterday, matter of fact, about it. Like,
we was up all night Saturday night, Sunday night. Because I live in a different state from them. So I drove up to Jersey, which is only about 3 hours. And we just hung out and watched football, and just watch the games. And yeah.
That's the best thing, man. That's the best
and that's
thing.
what they play football. So it's like, we really bonded when they started, because we spent a lot of time at the park, on the fields, working. One thing about me, I'm not one of them guys. I'm not trying to live vicariously through my kids. But here's the deal. Once you make a commitment to something, I'm here. I got you, right? Especially if we have to make the investment to get you there. But you're not going to make this commitment and I make the investment. And then you look at me and be like, nah, I'm good. No. You're not good. Yeah. We're not doing we're definitely not doing that. No, we're not doing that one, sir.
I'm good.
So, try again.
I didn't put the money in this, man. You better do this today. You'll be good afterwards.
You can be good afterwards, but try again, sir. We're not doing that one, though. So it's cool, man. It's a lot of fun, man, to just be that guy that when your kids see you, man, my baby is 17, right? Everybody else, they're pretty much young adults. But to see your kids light up, man, when they see dad, even at the ages that they are, like, hey, when you coming up? My oldest son just said, yo, when you coming up? Your birthday was yesterday. We ain't do nothing. We need to do dinner. We need to go do something. And that's how they are, man. Even if it's nothing but let's jump in the car and let's go walk around the mall. Because we do. We honestly have fun together, man. Genuinely. And we just do it, man. We have our fun. We crack our jokes. But again, dad is dad. And no one ever crosses the line, and the respect is there. And when they out of pocket, guess who they hear it? Yeah, oh yeah, all day, every day. And it's never a thing where it's like, oh, it's like, okay, I'm not messing with him. Like, or sometimes they'll try to run from me, like, nah, I'm not answering the phone because dude, I already know when I hear from him, he gonna let me have it. So yeah, it's cool though, man. I love it.
Yeah, you just said something, man. January birthday was yesterday, man.
Yesterday, January 11th, man. Yes.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, sir.
My birthday January 31st. So my
Okay.
birthday coming up. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm the 11th, man. Yeah. I turned
Yeah.
48 yesterday, man.
Oh man. Congratulations, man. Happy birthday, man. That's an
Yeah.
amazing feat.
Beautiful, man. I told my daughter called me yesterday. What's up, old man? I said, nah, I still gotta bounce when I get out the bed, baby. I'm good. I don't have to pop no pills to make no part of my body work. We all good over here. I ain't no old man. I'm solid. Let's go. You want to run around the block a few times? Let's go. Yeah, man. We solid over here. She started laughing at me. She's like, you ain't lying. You are. She's like, you're 48. Your energy level is crazy. I'm like, I stayed out of harm's way, man. That's all.
That's it. That's a long life if you can stay out long harm's way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You said something earlier though, man. You said you and your wife separated, got divorced, and I was
Yes,
reading that, and you wrote a book about it,
I
and
did.
I was like, that's an intriguing concept to write a book about going through a new phase in your life. Yes, a new phase in your life. What is that? What did that do for you as a man going into a new phase in your life? But more so, what did that a book like that? What did that particularly close in that particular part of your life?
Well, I tell you this. The book itself closed nothing. However, the process, right, is it taught me so much, man. Like it stripped me down like bare, like bare. Here's the deal, right? You get married and you go into this thing, right, thinking it will be forever. Because we all really, for the most part, we all really hope that, right? We hope we found our mate for life, right? Because that's a lot, right? Because after a while, you've been with a person for so many years that you become kind of interdependent on them, man. Like just for little things, and you don't even notice it, right? And then you rely on this person, man, for all of this time, and then you start going through these little pitfalls, right? And everybody, they do have little stumbling blocks in their situations, and you hope you can overcome them. You hope you can overcome them, and then that one day, man, it hits and it's over, right? So now you're in a dark place. You're in an extremely dark place, right? So you're talking about leaving your comfort zone, right? Your wife, your kids. So you come home to this family thing every night for years. Now all of a sudden, it's no longer there, because 9 times out of 10, the man is the one that leaves the place, right? And has to rebuild. So yeah, that process was, man, it was tough, man. It was it put me in a real dark place, man. And it humbled me in a way, man, that I don't think not very many people would like to be humbled, man. And a lot of times we go through situations like, and we deal with death, right? So kind of like that's the death of marriage. But even the physical death has its finality, right? Where you understand, like, it's over for that person. You kind of grieve a little bit. You miss them as time go on, but it becomes so. But with this situation with with divorce, man, it's like you still got to live through dying, right? Because I don't go home to my kids every day. I don't have that situation that I had, with my partner, you know what I mean, for so many years. And we were together 19 plus years. So yeah, that's a long time to be with an individual. And then when when it's all over, for you to say, oh, I'm good. You're lying. Like, you can
You're
stop
not.
that, right?
You're
So
not.
yeah, so man, it was a challenging process, man. And I had a phenomenal supporting staff though. Like, my cast was crazy, man. I had my dudes, man, that I worked with. Those guys, man, they held me down. They held me down, man. I had um even some of the females that I work with that I called my sisters, man. These people just made sure that there was never a moment alone, right? Not to mention my family, my real family, my moms, my dad, all my uncles that had been through divorce, man. So they was just sharing with me, man. And and when it's family, man, those dudes are tough, man. So what? Get over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Yo, get
Yeah.
over it. Like, it ain't the first time it happened. It won't be the last time it
Last,
happened.
yeah, it's
Like, listen,
like,
I hear you, bro, but this
I
hurts.
gotta go
Like, you
through
know
this
what I
shit,
mean?
bro.
Yeah.
I gotta go through this shit, man. You talking
Like,
back.
yeah, man. So it's a dark path, man, that seems like it's never ending, man, because of the pain, right? So, man, I mean, it was rough. It was extremely rough, man. But what I did to kind of really get through the process, man, I just made a pact with my kids that at the end of the day, I'll always be here regardless, right? So I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna do the sucker move just because me and your mother ain't together. Now all of a sudden you can have the kids. Like, we're not doing that, because they're mine. So I'm responsible for them. So my kids and I, we made a pact that we would definitely make sure we're there for each other and we would support each other. So making sure that they were good really helped me with my healing process, man, my grieving and my healing process. Just making sure that my kids understood that daddy is still daddy. I'm not, so when I finally kind of got myself together, because when I left, I went to my sister's house. So I kind of, stayed at her house for a minute until I kind of, got my money up and was able to
Yeah.
get my own place. So what I did though, and I think you heard Kanye just did this. He just bought a house across the street from his ex. So, but I rented a place probably a block away from where my ex-wife and the kids live. And I did it because my kids were in sports and I still didn't want to miss any school programs, any back to school nights, anything of that sort, because I was in their everyday life. So I wanted to kind of keep it as normal as possible for them through this entire transition. And so I did. I moved close to them, and that gave them the ability to see dad, because I told her I'm not doing holidays, birthdays, weekends. That's not my relationship with my kids. It never was, and it never will be. So it gave them the ability to come to my house after school or stay with me and leave the house and go to school. That way you still saw enough of daddy, as well as mommy. So daddy still went to football practices. It was local. He went to games. He still came to back to school night. He still went to swim meets, swim practices. So me, just for my kids, I tried to keep it as normal as possible for the transition. So just seeing them, like, kind of cope with it, knowing that, hey, dude is still around, it kind of helped me kind of heal. And I honestly, man, took 7 years off from dating just to get myself right, get myself and my mind right. And I wanted to make sure my kids understood that I was here regardless. So when I did get my own place, I didn't want to like kind of muddy anything up with bringing ladies over, because my kids came over. They slept in my bed. They hung out with me. And I never told my kids, oh no, you can't come tonight. Like, so they knew that they always had access to come into the house. So yeah, man, for 7 years, man, I did nothing like as far as dating. But yeah, that experience, man, was a painful experience, man. So I took that time, man. I got me together. Because there was a lot of questions. Was it worth it? I just wasted my time. Did I just waste all my time? You know what I mean? So because it's trauma, right? So
Yes.
during trauma, man, your brain just starts speeding through the process because it's like it's a tragedy. It's tragic
Yeah.
in a sense, right? So yeah, man, I fought with so many things, man. However, the one thing I did finally understand was at the end of the day, man, I got to be better, right? So regardless to who was the cause of us not being together, I still always looked at it as, well, maybe if I would have did this differently, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Or maybe if I would have, did. So it was like, at the end of the day, man, it still boiled down to, I got to be better. Why? Because I can't control what nobody else does. Regardless of how I feel about what they do,
Yep.
I'm only in control of me.
Of my
So
actions.
yeah, so a lot of times, a lot of people get caught up with that. Oh, but look what they did.
Hmm.
You can't do anything about that. So why put all that energy into what someone else did when you can take all that energy and better you? So once I started, man, really, really digging in, man, and fixing me, I started feeling better about myself, right? And then at that point, once you start feeling better about yourself, man, you kind of like, you're good. You get your swagger back and you can just kind of deal with it either way, right? By getting into another situation or just by chilling. Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't like to take that time out for themselves. And because they don't like themselves enough. They can't deal with themselves, but they want to force
Or,
themselves on somebody else, right?
or they don't know how to be by themselves. They never had
Yeah.
that ability to know what it felt like to be by themselves.
Because they don't like themselves enough to
Yeah.
be by themselves. Because if you ever notice a person that don't like to be by themselves, right? Just listen to that conversation. Everything is mostly complaining.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, nothing is good enough. They're still going to find something to complain about, right?
Yeah.
So I often tell people, man, when you get to that point in life where everything and everyone is a problem, you're in a bad space, man. You're in a bad space. And you really need to check yourself. You need to check yourself and get right with you. Not no one else. You need to get right with you. But again, though, a lot of people suffered so many traumas coming up in life, man, whether it be parental, whether it be past relationships. Like they've suffered so many traumas, man, and they've never given themselves that time to heal. Like that healing process, man, is the most important piece to getting through any traumatic experience that you've ever suffered in your life. Think about a cut, right? You can't cheat that healing process. It's going to do what it does, right? When you
Right.
cut, you're going to bleed.
Right.
After a while, you bandage it up, you stitch it up, whatever you do. But that healing process is still going to be that healing process. One thing you're going to know is that scar is there. So you can try to ignore it all you want. You put some water on it, you put some soap on it, it's going to remind you that I'm still here. And so what happens is we like to cheat the healing process by just trying to skip over those feelings that make us feel bad. So we turn to different things, whether that be, more relationships, whether that be partying, drinking, smoking. So we turn to these things to try to turn that pain off. In reality, you never turn it off. You just added more stuff on top of that to make the issue even more complex. So we got to learn, man. That healing, man, is key to anything, man.
Man, that's kind of like my podcast right there. That's my whole podcast right there. Because that's exactly what I preach. That's exactly what it is. I feel like being even though 27 years old, like I've been through a couple of situations where I was just I like you said, I blamed the other person right out the gate. I was like, man, that's her fault. Like she did
Yeah.
that to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but then I kind of like sat back. I was like, nah, you could have easily adjusted yourself. You could have saw that there was really nothing there. You could have fixed. There's nothing there. you put something there and made it seem like it was more when it really wasn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me into the mindset of like, damn. And I stopped doing that and started pouring more and more into me as a person, which created this podcast and pushed myself into doing this podcast even more because I needed it at that
Yeah.
time in my life. I needed it. I was going through, like you said, the darkest times in my life. I was, depressed all the time. I was anxiety filled. I was, suicidal, like all of those things. And just one situation, two situations compounded everything in
Yeah.
one. And then I wasn't happy with where I was in my life also at the time too. So it's kind of just like everything kind of came in at once and it hit me like a wave. It hit me like a super huge tsunami and fucked me up really good. And I was
When
just
it
like, damn.
does, it does, man, all the time. You know what I mean? Listen, there's no one situation you have, right, where there's about a slew of them that follow behind it, right? Like it's going to be something, man. And it's like, man, right? But I always go back to these little sayings, man, that I learned from my grandparents and being in church, man, that God won't put no more on you than you can bear, right?
Mm,
So I always took that saying and I roll with it because I'm like, listen, if he ain't gonna put no more on me than I can bear, that means I can get through this.
mm,
I can really get through this, right? So now I have to believe that. Now I have to start believing in me before anybody else will believe in you. You got to believe in you because if you're pitching, right, your story to someone and they hear that passiveness or that doubt in it, they can't invest in your situation.
yeah.
They will never invest in your situation. They be like, oh, he don't even believe in what he's saying. He don't believe, you know. So you got to, man, listen, I used to take that passage, man. I used to be like, I'm good. Even when I wasn't, right? I had to keep telling myself, I'm good. I'm good. So I did, man. I did. I pushed through, man. And I tell you, when I felt like, okay, it's time, I did. I went on a little test. I went on a couple of test dates, right? Just to
Mm-hmm.
see if I was emotionally ready to move forward. Because I did. I wanted to make sure I was good.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I young lady that I knew, we were on Facebook. She inboxed me like, hey, what's up? You know, we chat and let's hang out. So it's cool, let's do that. So come to the house on Friday, we watch the game and just kick back, whatever, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, we'll get something to eat. Let's just catch up, right? Nothing crazy. Let's just do that. She's like, all right, I'll do that. So she did. She came to my apartment and it was, I'm not sure what month it was, but I know it was cold. It was winter time in Jersey. That's for sure. So winter time in Jersey, yeah, the heat is on about 80 in my crib. Like that's guaranteed. Like I don't like to be cold and I'm not walking around the house in a bunch of clothes. Like we're not doing that. I'm gonna put on a t-shirt, some basketball shorts, some slide, and that's what we're going with. Like, listen, I'm not putting all that on, right, to be walking around the house. So she came in and I never forget, man, she came up the stairs and she was like, man, it's hot in here. And I looked at her. I was like, can you leave? She's like, what? I said, nah, I something came up. I need you to go. Like, I got to get my kids. Like, I need you to go. And then I went and I told my boys about it the next day. They was like, yo, man, that was kind of cold. I said, it was. I agree with you guys. But what it showed me was that I wasn't ready, right? Because I didn't have no tolerance level for anything because to me, I felt like she was complaining. It's December, January. Like, instead of saying, yo, dude got a nice little spot, he got his, like, he paid his
First
public
thing you say,
service bill. Like,
first thing you
this,
say is, it's
yeah,
hot here?
yeah,
Nah,
this
wait a
is the
minute.
only thing this is the only thing you can come up with when
He's
you
like,
come
he's
into
like, you don't even
somebody's
know
house.
me like that. You don't even know me like that. Why would you even start that off with that?
It's winter. First of all, like, come on. So yeah, I asked her to leave, man. Yo, my boys let me have it, man. They was like, yo, you are dead wrong for that. So I said, okay, cool. I got you. Right. I
Yeah.
called her the next day. I
Mhm.
apologized to her,
Mhm.
right? I said, all right, we'll try it again. I said, but let's do this. Let's hit the
Go somewhere.
movies, right? Let's go see a
Yeah, let's go
movie or
somewhere.
something, right? So I never forget, Why Did I Get Married To had just came out.
Yeah.
So in Jersey, Clifton Commons, I said, I'll drive, you drive there, I'll just meet you there, right? Because I had some things to do. So I said, I'll meet you there. So we did, we met up at the movie theater. We get, I purchased the tickets. I said, yo, let's go hit the concession stand before we go inside and watch the 45 minutes worth of trailers, right? So we're
Mhm.
at the concession stand, we're getting whatever we want to get. And some friends of mine, they come through. So I'm chopping it up with them. I'm talking to them. I'm like, yeah, hey, meet my friend. And, I introduced them. And she's like, so I was like, all right, yo, you guys coming to see this too? That's like, yeah, we're going to see Why Did I Get Married To? I said, okay. I said, I'll get up with you guys. So we're in the theater, right? So right before the trailers come on, she's like, so word, that's how you gonna like introduce me as your friend? I said, well, yeah, that's what it is. Like, first of all, this is our first time going out. Like, what else am I supposed to introduce you as, right? She's like, nah, but I'm just saying though, like, I was like, listen, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, let's enjoy the movie. We're gonna be all right. So still waiting on the trailers to come on. And every once in a while, she'll look over at me and say something about this whole friend thing. I was like, okay, now I done made up in my mind what's about to happen right now, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I guess you didn't learn from the first night,
That's all.
like who you're
Yeah.
dealing with right now, right? So she's sitting there, she's talking. I was like, can you hold my drink for me? I gotta run to the bathroom. She's like, okay. So I handed her my drink and I walked out the theater through the hallways. I went right out the front door, got in my car, and I went home. I left her right there, man. So then I told my boys about it. They was like, yo, I can't even say you wrong because of what happened the other night. Like, she should have been better, right? So again, that's that thing of I can't control the individual, so I can control me. And instead of doing like you said you did, trying to make nothing something, like, let me just roll out because I just came out of this whole traumatic experience, right? I'm not doing it again. So that was just like me gauging myself, man. It's funny, right? And then the crazy part about it is, like, even my lady now, when she hears it, she's like, yo, that's you 100%. So she asked some of my boys, like, did I ever do that? They was like, oh no, he did it. Like, he definitely did it. So yeah, man, it was like, it was like, it was an experience, man, but I was gauging, right? And that's what a lot of people don't do, man. They just go through,
Go.
just happy to
Go.
be with somebody. I'm like, nah, because
Nah.
I had already said, man, nobody else is coming in here, especially if you think you're gonna disturb my peace. We're not doing that. Nah, we're not. Nah, we're not doing that. So yeah, man, and I shut it down for a minute after that too, man. I shut it down, and then the young lady I'm with now, I kind of knew her for some time, and we just kind of bumped into each other, man, and it just kind of linked up, man, and our first time together, man, it was just cool. It was fun. It wasn't no pressure on nobody, right? We was just chilling, right? Like, like homies. It was like, I was
Yeah.
chilling. I was kind of chilling with my homie. So it just kind of clicked, man. And, she's still, tolerating me, right? So we're kind of good right now, man. We're kind of good right now. So yeah, man, so yeah, the book itself never closed a chapter in my life because I wrote it so many years after the divorce. So I was already good. I was past it, right? However, I just felt like I needed to share. I needed to share with some of these men, man, and some of these ladies, man, to make people understand that, yeah, we as men, man, we feel it too, right? We go through the trauma. We often hear the women's side of divorce, but we never hear the men's side. So I wanted to share that part. I wanted to be vulnerable and open enough to like let people in, and I wanted to, just put it out there. So for me, it was just a vehicle to kind of heal other people, and I thought it was important.
Yeah, man, that's an incredible incredible story, man. And
Yeah,
that right there tells a lot because you was like, I wrote that years later.
yeah. Yeah,
It's just like,
I'm talking about 50, almost 15 years later, I wrote that.
oof,
Yeah. So I was good, right? So,
yeah.
which was important that when I wrote, there was no pain that I relived because I had did the proper healing process.
Mm.
So for me, it was just about understanding the process even more. So now by me writing it, now I can write it from a not only the hurt perspective, but an educated perspective.
How can I
So,
got through it? How
yeah.
can I got through it? Perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah. Man, that was incredible, man. I enjoyed, you know, talking to you, man. This has been fun, man. I really enjoyed this, man. I also know you got a podcast, and I hope all those stories that you just told me are on this podcast because I'm definitely going to listen to it.
Well, no, they're not, right? Because Vibe Sessions is a podcast with myself, my brother Nitty Green, right? He's from the
Yeah.
group Riff and Minivision, and his lady Danielle Silva, who's also the show's producer. So our podcast is basically about life, love, and music, right? But we have a lot of '90s musical guests on our show, right? And we do different topics as well. And but as far as getting that deep, we really don't, right? But it's a fun podcast though. It's fun, and we have those life moments as well. We come on Facebook Live every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this week we have what's my man name from As Yet? We have one of the members from As Yet on this particular week. So it's going to be another cool one, right? But however, I do have my own podcast coming out in the next couple of months entitled The Conversation, which will I'll be doing series on I think my first series is the hidden wounds. So
Mm.
those traumas that you can't see, right? But it's that stuff people go through. So my podcast would definitely be geared more toward like healing. You know what I mean? These things we dealt with as youth, as young adults, as older adults that we never released or got rid of or allowed ourselves to heal through. So that's going to be my podcast, which is entitled the Conversation, and I'll keep you posted on that one as well, though.
Oh,
Definitely,
definitely, man. I'm definitely trying to go
yeah.
listen to that one. That's gonna be
And
great.
listen, you got to come through too. Listen, you definitely got to
I'm
come
in.
through and hang
You
out with
know I'm
me.
in. You ain't
Yeah,
gotta just send me the. I'm in. Let's do this.
I
Oh
will.
man.
I will. But thank
Before
you for having me on
yeah.
tonight, though, man. If you ever need me again, call me, man. We can get part two of this going.
Oh man, I'm
I
ready
don't even
for it.
think I got through chapter one on that book. Just kind of brief through it a little bit, just to give you a
Yeah.
feel of what's going on.
Yeah, before you go, man, I always do this on my podcast when I interview anybody, man. I do this particular series at the end of the podcast. It's called From Me to You. It's something that I let my interviewers, my people that's listening, they always, get this one tidbit from the podcast, this particular thing that wraps up pretty much all of the podcasts. So from me to you, I want you to anybody that's listening, how do you heal in coming out of a healing situation? How do you find healing in a certain situation? Even though we talked about a lot, and
Yeah.
we kind of did, but what
Yeah.
is the one thing that you particularly think that you need to do when you're trying to heal? And what is the one thing that you love about being an educator? Because you are a teacher. You taught me a lot today. So what is the one thing you love of being an educator, man?
Well, as far as healing, it's not a simple process, right? To be totally honest with you, I think the again though the key is when you feel that hurt all over again as you're going through the process, don't stop yourself. Allow yourself to feel that pain, right? Because if you never confront that pain, you'll never defeat it. So you definitely have to confront the pain. And that's why a lot of people don't heal fully, because they don't want to relive the hurt. However, it's necessary to, deal with that hurt so that you can succeed. in your healing process.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
And as far as being an educator, I think it's amazing to be able to touch youth, man, and to be able to let them know that them being them is okay, right? However, let's give you structure to who you are so that it's tangible when you go through different levels of life so that you can succeed. So it's not about, people get educators, they like to get into changing who a kid is. Not that it is who you are, right? But let me show you how to take who you are, right? Let's polish that up and let's just be mindful of where you are when you're portraying certain actions. Let's learn how to speak, right? Let's learn how to articulate in ways where we can communicate on different levels with different people. So being you is always cool because that's all you know, right? So
Yes.
I'm not going to stop you from being who you are because who else are you comfortable with being besides you? So we have to keep you comfortable enough to understand, hey, you are enough, right? Like, so me trying to change who a kid is, that's like me telling them that they're not enough. They're not good enough. They're not, so listen, I let you be who you are. However, let's fix this up. Let me show you how to be who you are in a way where it's not offensive to anyone else. And we can succeed when we go to the next level. So that's what I love about being an educator. And by me giving the kids that type of respect, man, they reciprocate it back. And to be able to be the trusted one that they believe in enough that when they're having those situations or those issues that they don't know how to deal with, that they can come sit down and they trust me enough to talk to me without me judging them or making them feel bad about their decisions, man. It's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because we all need compassion in life. So we have to give compassion. So let's be mindful of that.
Yes. Oh man, thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate this. One more time, tell everybody where they can find your website, the podcast, your book, all these amazing things you're doing.
My book, you can find www.littlepie.mcelveen.com, and that's www.littlepie.mcelveen.com. Everything about me. I do life coaching as well. All that information is on my website, and you can follow me on, I guess, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is Lil Pie McElveen. I'm not running from anyone, so I use my name everywhere I go, So everything is Lil Pie McElveen, man. And just like, even if, listen, just for information, if you just want to get through something, man, just log on, the book, The Transition, man, I promise you, if you're going through some things, it'll definitely help you, man, get through the process. And I mean, I even wrote, man, how to keep it fresh, you know what I mean? How to keep the relationship where, hey, listen, because we all get in those situations, man, and we make these promises and guarantees to each other. Like, think about it, right? When you first start dating, what's your biggest argument you have with the young lady? Oh, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. No, you
Yeah.
hang up first, right? So let's keep that, man. Let's keep that same energy, man, where, if you rubbed her stink feet when y'all first met, don't try to act like you don't want to rub them 3, 4, 5, 6 years later. Let it kick them stink toes on that leg, man, and rub them down. So yeah, man, it's important, man, to enjoy who you're with, right? But enjoy who you are. So like, that's so important, man. That way you can get through life, man, with a little more ease, because we're already convoluted with so many different things in life, right? Why bring extra craziness to yourself?
Yeah.
Just enjoy the movement. We're only here for a minute, so enjoy the movement.
Definitely.
Yeah. And again, man, Brandon, I thank you for having me, man. It was a pleasure. I'm honored, man. I'm humbled to be here, and I thank you. And thank you for all you do, man. And you keep doing what you're doing as well.
Oh man, thank you, man. Again, I appreciate you coming on here doing this with me, man. I need that because I haven't had a therapy session all week. I need
Call
that
me,
therapy
man.
session.
You
I
got
need
my
that. I need,
information too. I
oh yeah,
listen,
I got you. I'm
holler
coming,
at
man.
me. And
Definitely.
email me your information. I got so I can get you this
Oh,
book. I'm gonna
I
sign this
got you.
book for you and get it out to you.
I definitely need that book, man. So I'm
I'm
definitely gonna see you the information as soon as we get off
okay,
of here, man. But
definitely.
thank you for doing this for me, man. I
My
really, really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And I hope you have a good night, man.
You do the same, man. Stay
All
safe
right,
out
man.
there, please.
You too, man.
All right. One love, man.
I love, man.
Peace.
Peace.